Hello there, and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. And tonight, I've got another special guest. Now, Leeds play Sunderland, Jimmy, on Friday evening. I've got Jimmy with me here from the Wise Men Say podcast. Welcome, Jimmy, to the channel. Thank you for joining me tonight, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Looking forward to the
it's
game
a
tomorrow. So
yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Are you going just as a
I
chance?
am indeed. Yeah, I'm not. I don't live in Sunderland. I live in Liverpool, but I've got a
Oh,
season ticket, so I travel up and for most home games and some aways as well, depending on when and where they are. So
oh,
yeah, I've got a
wow.
half day from work tomorrow, so I'm getting the train up. So there might be a fair few Leeds fans on my train actually, because it goes through Leeds and York and gets to Sunderland about 6 o'clock. So yeah,
Oh,
probably in the
fabulous.
minority on that train, I would imagine.
Oh, you'll enjoy it then. You'll make a few friends before the game,
Well, I do.
potentially,
Yeah,
then,
let's hope
Jimmy.
so.
Yeah, we'll
Keep your
see
head
that.
down, Molly.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it, potentially, isn't it? Potentially. But, well, before we get into, the meat of it and chatting about the game and chatting about Sunderland, Jimmy, just give us if anybody who doesn't know, I mean, I'm sure people might know about the pod, Jimmy, but
Hmm.
give us a flavour of it. What's it about? Who are you, basically?
Yeah, so we're Sunderland's longest running independent podcast. We've been going since 2013. I wasn't a founding member, but I've been a member for about 6, 7 years now. So I've basically been just started off doing the writing for them. And then, because we have a website which has articles on it, we do 3 pods a week normally. The main show's on a Monday. We do a preview show for the weekend games, and then normally do a reaction show after home games and away games as well. If people who've been to the game who do the pod have been to the game as well. So 2 or 3 shows, plus sort of articles. We've done collaborations with local papers before. We do live shows and stuff as well in pubs around Sunderland, and we will occasionally do sort of other have guest speakers on the podcast and that sort of thing as well. It's a thing we like to do. I've made quite a few friends by doing it, and we all enjoy it. So yeah, it's good fun. To be fair, it
That's
enhances the
great to me.
experience.
Honestly,
I'm
yeah,
sure
it's
you know
great
that.
fun
Yeah.
in it to just do what you do, talk about your team.
Mm.
You meet a lot of people, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you meet a lot of fans. You meet a lot of fans of other clubs as well doing there. So I've done a few of these before with fans of other clubs. It's always nice to have a chat with other people and stuff as well. So yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, good. That's great. That's really good, mate. So yeah, so go check them out. I'll put it down in the socials there,
Yeah,
the in the link and everything, so people can go check it out if they want
nice
to.
one.
And yeah, but you weren't featured on Sun Until I Die, were you, Jimmy? Oh,
We
I
were as a
thought you
collective, and
were. Yeah.
I'm on the last series, the first talking about Lee Johnson just after we lost to Bolton. Actually, the sort of clipped audio from various podcasts that we'd done around the time, and my voice is on it briefly, and some of the other lads are on it a bit more. They actually feature on camera in the first series as well, which is quite funny to look back on. Not that it was a nice period of our history to look back on, so I can't say any of us really enjoy watching the Netflix as much as fans of other clubs have. But yeah, it's on there for posterity if nothing else, and we were a small part of it, so that was quite interesting. Put it
There you
that way.
go. Yeah, it's interesting to do, isn't it? That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
getting the name out there as well. Like I said, I'd heard of you guys before, so you know what I mean. And
Mm.
I enjoyed it. Obviously, like I said, you probably didn't. Watching it back, it
Yeah.
wasn't a
Not
good part.
reliving the worst period in the club's history is not
Yeah,
exactly something you wanna watch. Regular.
no,
I'm sure you'd feel similar if your sort of mid noughties experience had been filmed and put all over Netflix. I'm sure you'd have mixed feelings about that as well. I'm sure
absolutely,
you
we
know how
would.
it goes. Yeah, yeah,
That's it, in it. We've been through similar times as well, so.
yeah.
But what about Sunderland then, Jimmy? Obviously, the current side, they're doing well, but
Mm.
it's not too far from the transfer window business. Obviously, about a month out from it. We're still under 10 games in to the season. What did you make of the business that your club did in the summer?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I must say it's gone a lot better so far than what pretty much any of us thought it would. Not that we were pessimistic, but I think after the end of last season, where we basically
Yeah.
just stopped playing in like February, and we're quite lucky not to go down. Really, I mean, I think the way the form was, we weren't expecting too much with the new manager coming in as well. But to be honest, like the new signings we've made, not all of them have played yet, so we've still got some depth to come in. the signings we have made, who have played, have all looked promising. And lads we signed last season have had a year to kick on, and the bad experience maybe seems to have done them good as much as playing well did earlier on in the season last year, because a lot of them look like much better players. I mean, selling Clark was obviously a potential issue. I mean, you obviously, similar thing happened to you, didn't it, when you sold him to Spurs? And obviously for us, it was him being our best player in the last couple of years. But at the same time, he wants to play in the Premier League. We can't offer that, and it's what happens when you're in the Championship, doesn't it? I mean, you've had similar with Somerville, wasn't it? Where obviously, I mean, you got a lot more money for him than we did for Clark. I would have rather had what you got than what we got. But at the same time, it's one of them where I think the money, his replacement was already at the club in Romain Mundle, who I'll probably talk about a bit later. And yeah, I think it's we've not missed him too much yet. We probably will do at some point, but as far as business generally goes, I think the proof's in the pudding so far in terms of how the season started. It's been really promising. So it's early days, but I'm happy so far.
Good. Well, good. I mean, they've done really well. You can't really grumble, I suppose. Top of the league.
No, didn't see that coming.
No, absolutely not. And like you said, after such a disappointing end to the season, where you only just survived, really 6 points away.
Well, the form, it was relegation form, really. We basically just tanked.
It was poor.
The 0-0 draw we got at your place was one of the few games we didn't lose towards the end of the season, to be honest. It was really bad, but those ghosts have been put to bed, and we've started this season really well. So things are looking up, I guess.
So, mate, yeah, go on. Sorry, but it came out there a bit. I don't know why.
Sorry. I was just saying the back end of last season was poor, but things are looking up this season. It's not affected us, which is good, because sometimes it can. I think if you have a bad end to a season, it can bleed over into the next, but it hasn't done so far this time. So yeah, things are looking up. It's good. Good atmosphere on the club at the minute, which has been a rare thing in the last few years for us, to be honest. So it's quite nice.
It's good to see that, really. Like I said, because from watching the Netflix, the documentary there, it was sour, it was horrible. The way it went for the club and everything. So it's good to hear that there's a positive atmosphere around. And what of Regis Libres have you made then, Jimmy? Because we were linked with him before. Yeah, we were. So before Fark came in last summer, we were briefly linked with Regis Libres. Yeah, so I'm interested to see how he gets on. I mean, how obviously top of the league, like you said. Proof is in the pudding, but are you optimistic? Obviously, you guys can maintain this form.
Yeah, he was a very left field appointment. I think not least because with the summer you were linked with him. Obviously, he just had Lorient's best ever finish in League One. Obviously, he didn't leave, and then got them relegated last season. So he could have had one, and there was only 2 seasons in management. So we did a podcast with a couple of Lorient fans.
Excellent.
Who obviously live in France, and their reviews weren't exactly glowing. But I mean, you can't really blame them considering he just got them relegated.
Yeah.
But to be fair to him, I really like him. He like I said, I didn't know anything about him at all really till we appointed him, but. He seems like a good character. He's very calm. He's one of those managers where quite a lot of sort of foreign managers are, where he's very analytical about it. He prepares really well. He reminds me a bit, Corberan at West Brom. He's got type of vibes like that, like almost a bit Bielsa-y in some ways as well. Just he's slightly odd personality. He's his interviews. He's very straightforward. He doesn't do any of the whole glad handing, backslapping sort of ex-pro proper football man stuff. He's very just down the line, answers the questions. Clearly he doesn't really like doing it, but he does it because he has to type thing. And I quite like that, to be fair. The players are really buying into it. Post-match interviews and stuff, the players can't reference enough how good his coaching is and how the systems we play and all that is the results we're getting is down to him and the work he's put in on the training ground. And it's what we needed, really. He's really just completely refreshed the whole thing since last last season, where we had 3 managers over the course of the season, which obviously is almost par for the course for us at times in terms of how many managers we get through. But it was it seems to be a lot more stability now, and he certainly seems to know what he's doing. He's obviously done his research and seems to have learned, because a couple of the Lorient fans we spoke to said that he can be quite stubborn, but he hasn't really been like that with us. He's changed formations, he's adapted, he's brought players in and what have you. And obviously it is early days, but clearly the proof's again in the pudding with the position in the table and the results we've had. And it's not one of them where sometimes you'll see a team be unexpectedly high, and it's because they're just everything's going in for them. They're winning games, where they shouldn't win, and they'll score. I think Preston did it a couple of seasons ago, didn't they? Where they were just like top of the league and they were winning games, but nobody really knew how because it was like
Yeah.
they've not actually played well, and the stats weren't good and the XG. But to be fair, we have got some of the better stats in the league, and we're doing it in a sustainable way, basically. And it comes, I think, from good coaching, good management, as well as obviously the players are buying into it. And that's half the battle, isn't it? Because in the league, all the players really are good. It's more how they're managed and the systems that you play that suits them. It's rare that there'll be the odd player who's really too good for the level or really too not good enough. But the vast majority of players across all the teams are much of a muchness ability wise to an extent. And it's really about the management of them that gets you there. I mean, look at Ipswich last season, went up with a load of players who played for them in League One, and it's that wasn't, they didn't just buy. I mean, I know they made some signings, but it was down to McKenna's management of them. Really, I think they've got them there, and I'd like to think we might have a similar tilt this season in terms of it being down to Labrese's coaching, because we don't have the parachute payments. We've got a bit of money from selling Clark and whatever, but it's nothing compared to what the likes of Sheffield United, Burnley, you guys to an extent have. I know you've obviously had to make some sales as well now, but I'm thinking more of the teams who've come straight down. But yeah, no, it's going well. I like him. He's a bit odd, but I don't mind that. You have managers who are a bit weird. It's quite fun, and like you said, you had PLC. He was a bit weird, and it's kind of fun because you never know what he's going to come out with next, which is always quite funny.
Well, that's exactly right, Jimmy. Yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen next. It's good fun. It's good fun to see what he's going to come out with, how he interprets the English kind of game as well,
Yeah,
which
and
is
his standards are dead high as well. That the players buy into it, and you can see even when we've won games, he's sort of said, "Well, this is just the start. We need to be better." If there's something he's not happy with, even if we've won the game, he'll say it. He's not just going to come out and act like they're the best team in the league and whatever. He's very much the opposite. He's very much just saying like it's a good start, but that's all it is. It's a start, and again, that's what you want from your manager, isn't it? Because it is early days, and good as we've been, nobody's won anything yet. So you've got to just keep going and
exactly
take each game as it comes.
it's a marathon, Jimmy, and it's 8
Yeah.
games in we are now. It's a real marathon. It's a championship. It's a difficult league to get out of, but so far so good for Sunderland. I mean, hopefully that'll end on Friday, but so. But with that game in mind, Jimmy, what if Sunderland are to win the game on Friday? And for me, it's a possibility. This, how do they go about it? In your opinion, what do they need to do well, and who should Leeds fans and the team be mindful of in the Sunderland lineup?
Yeah, well, I think last season, obviously, we beat you quite unexpectedly at the stadium, like playing quite a counter-attacking style, which I think is pretty much going to be the way it'll need to go against used again, because can't really compete player for player necessarily in terms of ability. I mean, we have got some good players. I'm not selling us short, but you're probably going to have the majority of the ball. You'll probably look to get forward as quickly as you can. Got the likes of Nonto and whoever who are going to cause us problems, but. I think possibly you are there to be got at looking at some of the goals you've conceded this season. I think Bogle, good going forward, don't really rate his defensive ability that much. And Romain Mundle's he plays left wing for us. He's absolutely on it at the minute. He's scored 3 goals already this season. He's got 2 assists. He got an assist against Derby the other night. He's absolutely lightning down the left wing, skillful, quick, and he's I'd like to think Bogle might struggle to handle him, to be honest. I mean, like I say, Bogle himself's good going forward, so we'll have to watch him certainly, especially on the overlap and what have you, because seen him play for Sheffield United a few times as well. He's definitely an attacking fullback, isn't he? But I think from the way we play is a lot of goes down the side. You've got Paddy Roberts on the right as well. He's obviously, people know he's quite a well-known player. He's very skillful. He's hit some good form after a poor season last season. So I think whoever plays left back for you will have to be switched on as well, because he's very much in form. And we've got Wilson Isidore up top, who we've signed from Zenit St. Petersburg in the summer. He scored 2 in his first 2 starts for us. He's French, sort of big, quick striker, sort of similar profile maybe to kind of like, I don't know. I guess physical profile wise, probably similar to Bamford or maybe Ruter. I know you don't have Ruter anymore, but kind of tall, rangy, quite quick. But he's scored 2 and 2, and he's hit the ground running. So I think going forward we can cause you problems, but it's going to be the midfield battle as well. I mean, obviously you've got some standout players for the level, and we have got a good midfielder, but it is quite a young midfield. Obviously, Bellingham is young. He's good, but he's got a great goal the other night. But he can sometimes be a bit out of position defensively, and he does put the work in, but he's not got the experience yet, really. And then Dan Neil made a bad mistake last weekend away at Watford, which cost us the game. Gave away a stupid penalty. He played a lot better on Tuesday, to be fair to him. Chrissy Riggs only young, so I think we'll probably play Alan Brown, who we signed from Preston on a free, because he provides a lot of experience. He's a good player for the level, and he'll probably be a calming head because we are probably going to spend a fair bit of time without the ball tomorrow night. So it's about keeping our shape, and we have been comfortable doing that. To be fair, we did the similar to Burnley quite early on in the season, where we basically just sort of like they didn't actually have a shot on target till the end of the first half, although they did have quite a lot of the ball, and that was and then we just repeatedly hit them on counter attacks using Mundell's pace and Roberts' trickery, and I think it'll be a similar type thing we'll try and do tomorrow. But I think obviously your players will carry a very high level of threat, so I must admit I'm quite nervous about it, but I'm excited. I feel like if we want to be at the top of the league, we need to be going into games with the likes of Leeds, who obviously were the standout favourites for the division at the start of the season, rightly so, in my opinion. But I think at the same time, we want to compete with you, so we've got to bring it on and see how it goes.
Well, this is it, Jimmy, isn't it? You know what I mean? If, like you said, if you want to be at the top, you've got to beat the likes of ourselves. I mean, I agree completely with you. And watching us, obviously, as a lot. Bogle is, like you described, good going forward, but he can definitely be got at. Hasn't started the season very well for me. Firpo's on the other side, the left back.
Yeah.
So, like
he's similar, isn't he? He's quite good going forward, but again, he's quite erratic. I remember him even in the Premier League. He made some high-profile sort of mistakes and stuff, didn't he, at times? So I feel like again, he's someone that like you'd probably think if you're up against him, I can get something from him here, but then you'd also in the back of your mind be thinking he's gonna get me on the going the other way too, because he's quick, isn't he? And he's obviously got some ability. So
they're both similar players, Jimmy, like you said, they are, but they definitely can be got. And you've got pace on those sides as well.
Well, that's our main thing. We'll try and get down the side and put the ball across, and that's how we've kind of been playing. So
exactly, and they've got Mayender. Is Mayender injured? Because he
is injured. He started the season well. We actually signed him at the start of last season, loaned him to Hibs, where he, to be honest, didn't pull up any trees whatsoever. Then, due to late business being done, we basically didn't have any other fit strikers at the start of the season, so we played him, and he started the season really well. But he's very, very quick, but he's young and he's raw. He actually got injured in training a week or so ago, so he's missed our last two. But like I said, Isidore, who we signed, has just come fit, so he's started the last two and he's scored in both of his starts. So he's it'll be him most likely who starts again tomorrow. He's quite a bit bigger than Mundell. He's tall, good in the air as well. So I think you've got Joe Rodon, who is too good to be playing in the Championship. Really, I was surprised that he dropped down to the champ, because I mean I would have thought a fair few Prem clubs would have taken him off Spurs, but obviously I can see why he signed for you, because he had a good loan, didn't he, last season, and chances are he'll come up anyway, and it's a club that you'd want to play for longer term, Leeds, isn't it, rather than signing for like a Bournemouth or someone.
Well, this is it.
You know what I mean? A different level club, and it's like
Jimmy,
if you can be part of the team that goes up with Leeds, then your chances are you'd make a good fist of staying up. So it makes sense long term for him, even if at the time this season it's like he's too good to be playing in the Championship, and he is, isn't he? Really,
he is.
He's one that he was a decent Premier League centre back for a bit, wasn't he? To be honest,
he was. He is. I mean, he makes odd silly mistakes, like he gave away a pen at Norwich on Tuesday, but overall, he's top notch at this level, Jimmy. You can't.
Is Ampadu injured, or is he?
Ampadu's injured, which is a real.
That's quite good, because he's been really good for you, isn't he?
It's a real bonus, Jimmy, for everybody in the Championship, basically. And watching us on Tuesday, we were very open in the middle of the park as well. So even Ilya Gruev, the Bulgarian centre mid as well, he got an injury on Tuesday as well. So he might not be available. So we're looking at.
And you sold Glenn Kamara, didn't you, as well? So
Glenn went. So we're talking about Ayo Tanaka, who's a Japanese international.
Oh yeah.
And Joe Rothwell, who we've got on loan from Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, he's good. He was at Salah. He scored against us with Southampton last season, actually.
Did he? Yeah, he's not a bad player. Hasn't really got minutes so far, but with these injuries, I think he'll probably start tomorrow. So, what then, Jimmy? Do you remember? Your personal memories. Obviously, coming up against Leeds at the Stadium of Light. What is your opinion of Leeds as a club, as a team right now, and also Have you got any memories of this fixture either
Yeah, I
at the
mean,
Stadium of Light or at Ellen Road?
I've only been to Ellen Road once, which was last season, which was the 0-0. So it wasn't obviously
Yeah,
the best game in the world. But I mean, growing up, I mean, I started going to Sunderland games in sort of mid to late 90s. So I remember games against Leeds probably starting from the early 90s because you were in the Premier League, obviously
yep.
during the 90s, and we were up and down. And we'll have played you in our first season back in the Premier League, which I think was when I was like 8, so I don't really remember it that well, 8 or 9. And then I do remember a fair few battles in sort of the early noughties as well, just after you got relegated, I think, back down to the Championship. So I don't know when that would have been exactly, but I remember a night match on a Tuesday in the cold. I think we won 2-1. I can't remember who scored, but I remember, and obviously Leeds, fairly local club, big fan base, historically successful club that everyone sort of knows. And yeah, a lot of people hate Leeds. I personally don't really have any hatred for Leeds. Obviously, you're a rival, but I mean, with you're the type of level club that we want to be rivaled with. It's a similar, sort of thing, isn't it? You're a city just absolutely mad for it, like Sunderland is. It's you could have a 60,000 seat stadium, you'd sell it out. Similar to us, really, I think, in that regard as well. And it's one of them where you've had some bad times, but you're on the way back, and fair play. And obviously, when I loved you when Bielsa managed you. I thought it was class. The whole, just everything about that reign, from the Spygate thing to the
Oh,
playoffs,
yeah.
and then when he was in the Prem, and when he did that press conference where he got his laptop out and it was about 5 hours long, and so that thought it was great. And yeah, just it's we've had there was a particularly poor game I remember was 2017-18 season when we got relegated from the Prem, got relegated again. We played you early on, and that Spaniard, I think Samu Saiz, something like that,
Samu
scored a couple,
Saiz,
yeah,
yeah,
scored a
yeah,
couple of
yeah.
goals against us at the Stadium of Light. One of the worst performances I've ever seen a Sunderland side turn out. It was honestly that was the point we knew we were in for a long old season, and yeah, we did get relegated
And it
again.
was,
So.
yeah.
But
I
yeah, no,
think
so fair few memories of Leeds, and it's a Ellen Road's a ground I'll be going to this year again, hopefully. So if I get a ticket, because tickets are like hotcakes for Leeds away, so it's quite hard to get them. But
it's a difficult ground to get tickets for, definitely, and very pricey as well, from what I hear
yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
for an away fan as well. But yeah, I mean, from what I remember with the games against Sunderland, Jimmy, we don't seem to win many actually, and particularly at the Stadium of Light, I
No,
don't really recall us actually. I remember that game, like you mentioned, with the
yeah, I
Saints.
think that does stand out because I think there was a long period sort of from like the mid noughties through to like the late tens where we were in different divisions all the time because we'd gone up and you were in the League One, and then you'd
Yep,
gone up, and we kept missing each other. So I think we played quite a lot probably early in the noughties, then not again for about 10, 12 seasons. And
I
then
think you're probably right.
so yeah, I think you're right in terms of that we haven't. I don't think either of us have a particularly good record at the other's ground, but we're both
Y-
quite strong in the home games. So I think
Yes,
hopefully for me that'll happen
yeah,
tomorrow as well.
yeah, of
But
course.
maybe you could argue you're due a win as well, so you never know.
Potentially. Although, we only drew though at Norwich, so it's
Yeah.
look, it's a difficult game. I think a lot of Leeds fans you'd ask, Jimmy, would say, yeah, it's a very difficult game with you guys being
Mm.
at the top. Like I said, the form at the Stadium of Light for us doesn't seem the best. Obviously, last season you mentioned that one we went and
I
lost
mean,
out
I'm sure it
1-0.
was a terrible game for you guys to watch, but
Yeah, it
I mean,
was
it wasn't much better for us. But
it was horrible.
I'd bite your hand off for that right now. What a scrappy 1-0
Absolutely.
win
Yeah.
with a dodgy sort of goal that I thought was been offside or something. It was Bellamy,
Yeah, it
wasn't it?
was
And it was like,
yeah,
how was that gone in?
it
But
was a
yeah, it
really
was
odd goal, a really
yeah,
strange match. A Tuesday
yeah,
evening, wasn't it, as well? So you
yeah,
get
yeah.
them. It just stank for us for
Yeah.
me personally. It just stank of a 1-0
It was one
loss,
of
and
them like
that's
welcome back to the championship games
yeah,
for you, wasn't it? After being in
exactly.
the
Just not very
yeah,
good, but there you
yeah,
go. What can you do? But Jimmy, you
yeah,
say you based in Liverpool then, but are
yeah. I
you?
mean, yeah.
But you're from Sunderland then,
I'm
are
from
you?
yeah, I'm from Durham. But I've
All
not
right.
lived there for about 15 years now, so I've lost my accent a fair bit. I mean, it's one of them where I grew up went to school in Durham, then I went to university in Sheffield, and then moved over to Liverpool. So I've not lived in the northeast. So I've had a season ticket consistently through. It's just one of
Yeah,
them where
fair enough,
it's
mate.
a lot of miles, but it's worth it. I enjoy
It's
it.
That's really good. It's dedication to the team, isn't it?
Mm.
Do you go away as well at all?
Yeah, so it's quite
Yeah,
good. Obviously, being in the northwest is quite well located for away games. Obviously, around the northwest, but also Yorkshire as well. So, for example, me
yeah,
getting to Leeds is is just as quick as it would be from the northeast, and then getting to any like the Manchester clubs is easy, and South like Sheffield. Obviously, both Sheffield clubs are in the league this season, so get to Wednesday United easily and all that as well. So yeah, it works out really well. And obviously, I'm closer to London too, so fair for you, London. I love a London away game as well, so it's easy. Yeah, be there in 2.5 hours from Liverpool, so that's quite easy too. So yeah.
So you're quite well suited then for that. But Jimmy,
it works out well.
Good man, good. So if a lot of Leeds fans, obviously it's a Friday night game, mate. So some Leeds fans, they might be milling around, staying over in Sunderland, maybe they're taking the family there and looking for things to do on the Saturday, maybe. What would you suggest, is a good spot to, it doesn't have to be drinking, it can be a day trip or whatever.
The northeast is, some of the most beautiful coastline in the country is in the northeast. So anywhere from Sunderland upwards. I won't advise going to Newcastle for obvious reasons. If you just skirt around that part of the country, that would be good.
We'd never go there.
If you're staying in Sunderland, Roker Beach is a beautiful beach. You take your kids there. There's nice ice cream shops, coffee shops. There's everything there that you could want. There's lovely. Sunderland has actually gone through a bit of a renaissance in terms of quite a bit of money spent on it. So there are quite a lot of nice now, like restaurants, bars, and cafes, and just it's got a bit more because maybe 10 years ago there wasn't a great deal there for someone who was maybe there for the weekend, but they really are trying to get more into that market. So if you're a family there, I'd recommend Roker Beach. You can go up further up. You can get the metro up to Shields, and then further on up Tynemouth, and all of that you can do in a very short space of time. It's all on the metro train there, so it's very well located. And if you want to go inland a bit, Durham's nice. I grew up there, so I'm probably a bit biased, but it's a lovely city. You've got the cathedral, you've got the castle, and again, like nice cafes, bars, restaurants, all that type of thing. And the northeast is just somewhere that I think from a visiting for the weekend place, it's kind of got everything you'd need. Whether you're on a weekend with the lads, or you've got your missus, or you're with the family, or whatever you're doing, there's something for everyone really. If anyone's got pre-match in Sunderland Centre, the fire station's a nice place that you can get pints there, but it does food, it does other stuff as well. It's very well located in the centre. It's just called the fire station. I'd recommend that. It's nice, friendly crowd in there. Won't be bothered if a few Leeds fans are in there, as long as they're not kicking off themselves. It'll be fine. There's loads to do, but Roker Beach would be a start. I think it's a beautiful. If the sun's out, it's honestly it's picture perfect. It's amazing, and there's loads to do for the kids and that there as well. So
brilliant, Jimmy! That's a great. You sound like the Sunderland or the Northeast Tourist Board.
I know. I need to get some permission. I'll make sure you send a copy of this to the Tourist Board. I'll see if I can get some royalties for that.
Absolutely, I will get the tags in and all sorts. But great, Jimmy. Thank you very much. Well, it's been great to chat to you anyway. But just before you go, just before we go, buddy, I'll just push you for a score prediction.
All right. Well, we've not conceded at home yet this season. We've played 4, and we've not conceded. I've got a feeling we might concede tomorrow for the first time. So but I do think we're gonna win. So I'm gonna say 2-1.
All right, mate. Sorry.
Did that break up? Did it?
Yeah, it did. Sorry, mate. Just a score prediction if you could.
Yeah, sorry. 2-1 Sunderland.
Excellent.
I think we've not conceded yet at home, but I think we'll concede. So we've won for all 4 games to 0 so far, but I think we'll concede tomorrow. But I think I'm going to be confident. Why not? We're top of the league. I think we're going to win 2-1. But I would take a draw 100%. So
it's one of them, isn't it? To be fair, I would take a draw. Even though we didn't beat Norwich, a lot of people are saying 4 points from those 2 away games would be good, but
it would be. Because Norwich is never an easy place to go either.
So. 2 very difficult away games in a short space of time, so we'll have to wait and see. But lovely, Jimmy. Well, I hope you enjoy your day there tomorrow on the way up. Have a safe journey, mate. But obviously, don't enjoy it too much. But hopefully,
same to you.
Hopefully, we'll come with the 3 points. But there you go. But lovely to speak to you, Jimmy. Thanks very much for coming on, mate.
No worries, mate.
And all the best. Remember
you too, mate.
Everybody to drop them a listen. The wise men say.
Wise men.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Nice, mate. Cheers. Bye bye.